can't take the notes back. I need this speech because I'm gonna go on the road and have people introduce me with all those words. That was, by the way, I have nothing left to damn say. I was gonna try to toot my own horn on some stuff, but at least you validated some of these things, and I'm very grateful to you, Supervisor, and I'm very honored to have been introduced by you, and very, very humbled by the generosity of your introduction. And to everybody here, I'm very grateful for the privilege, and I'm also cognizant that I'm the last speaker and you want to all get home. So I'm going to do my best to be succinct. But I do want to pick up a little bit on not only what the supervisor was saying, but some of the videos I was watching as I walked in, particularly the video around immigration. And, it's just a reminder, I look at that video that we're living, and I'm proud of this, in the most un-Trump state in the United States of America. I mean it. It cannot be said enough. This is a remarkable place, the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy. A majority-minority state. 27% of this state is foreign-born. We've had 115,000 refugees that have come to this state just in the last decade or so. It's a remarkable place. We practice pluralism. That's a word you don't hear in the White House, pluralism. We are truly a universal state where we're living together and advancing together, and yes, I'll say it, prospering together by and large across every conceivable and imaginable difference. Very proud to be governor of this state. And I also happen to think the more I travel, not just across this country, but around the world, that the world looks to us to see that it's possible to live together across all of those differences. And I like to think about our state. What makes us great today is that we don't tolerate our diversity. We truly celebrate that diversity. And that's the spirit, of Dr. King that the supervisor was referring to, that notion that we're all bound together by a web of mutuality. It's what Father Cause at Santa Clara University reminded all of us as we were growing up. Says the Bible teaches us we're many parts, but one body. And when one part suffers, we all suffer. And I say that because I think that's a spiritual frame that connects every single one of you in this room. It connects the collective cause that is public counsel. It's to right wrongs, to stand up for ideals, to strike out against injustice. And I also say that because I'm not naive about the state of California, the richest and the poorest state in America. Supervisor referenced the ultimate manifestation of our failure, and that's the number of homeless out on the streets and sidewalks. But that injustice manifests in so many other ways. I was reading this is what happens, Governor Davis is here. We both shared the fate of being lieutenant governors. I was lieutenant governor to Governor Jerry Brown, so I had 8 long years to read up on the classics. And I came across a wonderful quote from Plutarch. I know all you are educated, so you all know about Plutarch. But for those of you who may have forgotten, born around 50 A.D. or so they claim. Plutarch was fill in the blank, an historian, a scholar, and philosopher. But he warned the Athenians close to 2,000 years ago. He said the imbalance between the rich and the poor is the oldest and most fatal ailment of all republics. This fundamental idea. Think about that. Close to 2,000 years ago, someone warning in historic terms about the imbalance between the haves and the have-nots. Not just income, but wealth inequality. Fast forward today. 2 different worlds we're living in the same state. 2 different worlds in the same city. Someone said to me the other day, said, what's your plan? What are you going to do? You're going to do on the east? I said, east what? I said, East Coast? I'm not planning to go back east. I said, no, East LA, East Oakland, East Palo Alto. What's your plan to address that divide? I was all caught up in that urban-rural mindset, talking about a coastal economy and an inland economy. Point that was made to me was a powerful and potent point. I don't need much evidence of that. Just walking a few blocks and down towards Skid Row. Two different worlds, our same communities. More polarized than ever, focused on our differences, what divides us, not what unites us. Richest and the poorest state, California. $21.5 billion budget surplus, 115 consecutive months of net job growth, 3.6% GDP growth on average the last 5 years. Bond ratings just going up, yet new numbers come out, 25% of the nation's homeless. Leading the nation when you adjust for cost of living and the number of people living below the poverty line. That's where you all come in. See, Mark just talked about leadership. I'm a Sarge Shriver Democrat. And what that means is, as someone that has long focused on leadership, you don't have to be something to do something. There's a lot of mythology about leadership, that it's a guy or gal on the white horse that's going to come save the day. But the leadership assembled here, the folks that are here, the volunteers, the staff, you didn't wait to be something to do something. You recognize leadership can be found anywhere. Sarge Shriver, the Kennedy most of you forgot about, never served one day in elected office. And with respect, I'd put up his record up against probably the majority of presidents that have served in the highest office of the land. If you think I exaggerate, just consider the Peace Corps. Just consider Head Start. Just consider that war on poverty. By the way, the last time, never happened before or since, during his tenure, never did more people pull out of poverty than during his time in his life. Vista, foster grandparents. You go down the list, including, yes, legal services for the poor. Sarge Shriver, the war on poverty, and the idealism of the 60s. What he had is what you have, moral authority. It's interesting, I was reading, I'm a kid of the 80s, reading about the Velvet Revolution, Havel in Czechoslovakia. He wrote a wonderful piece called The Power of the Powerless. And he talked about how when he became president of Czechoslovakia, that he became degeniused because he talked about the constraints of office. And he said he lost that moral authority as he transitioned into formal authority. Supervisor talks about Dr. King. We don't celebrate, March on Washington, former President Martin Luther King. Think about Cesar Chavez. He wasn't former governor Cesar Chavez. I don't recall in my history books Prime Minister Gandhi. Go down that list. The most transformational leaders of our time shared that same quality, moral authority. They led. And so to the young folks here, to the extent, regardless of your time of life, the state of mind that may be assembled here today, that's an important point to punctuate and, moreover, to animate in the world we're living in. And that's why I'm honored to be here. That's why I'm honored to be part of your journey, proud to be with you when we committed $331 million in this year's budget to create a permanent annuity to protect renters and to protect folks from fraud and support organizations like yours, regardless of any macroeconomic turndown. Thank you for stepping up and stepping in. Thank you for recognizing you're not bystanders in the world, that you can shape the future. And thank you for recognizing this future is not just something to experience. It's not just in front of you, it's inside of you. It's our decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you, Public Counsel, for stepping up and advancing the cause that unites us here together. Justice, that sense of idealism and hope that you manifest each and every day. Thank you. God bless you. I'm honored for this award. Thank you all.